Hey, what's up, guys? It's Kat from Pray for the Trigger now, and this is my third place Eledglema list. I won't be taking any credit. Leo did build it for me. He mentioned in the coming back video, I was actually out of town for 2 weeks, and I actually got back on the day of the tourney at 6 a.m. I was not planning on playing at all, but then he sent me a message where he was goldfishing this deck. And he's like, oh, look, bro, I built you this meme deck. And I was like, well, now I gotta play. And this deck is so much fun. I thought this deck was just a meme. I thought, oh, it's like a hodgepodge. It's like 1 in a million, you're gonna hit the 5-set order thing. Look at me, I'm cool. But surprisingly, because the 2 new cards they got, which I'll point out, Eledglema is so funnily consistent and so strong. I don't think it has any right to be as good as it is, but I'm so glad that Eledglema is a playable card now. Because if you know, Eledglema is part of a group of cards like Shieldfisher and Musashi Armor, and those cards got support, but they're awful. But Eledglema, luckily, got really good cards, and I will be showing you the list now. Starting with the right line, it's pretty simple. We are just playing the Archetype right line. Mostly just because it searches a research order, which could be the monster one, which is optimal, or it could search the Ava one if you draw all the monsters. And then, of course, Eledglema. Just to go really quick, on place, look at the top 5 cards, well, reveal the top 5, and you can just play any set orders you find there for free. So that gets around a lot of restrictions, like the Ava order, you must have Ava. This gets around that. If they have a CB cost or a Soul Blast cost, this gets around that, along with the grade 1 monster. It's so good if you hit at least 2, because the grade 1 monster will put more. But if you get lucky enough and get 3, 4, or even 5, you might just win on your first grade 3 turn, which is what this deck specializes in. Because with the second effect, at the end of this unit attack, you can choose 3 set orders with different names, put them back in your deck, restand a rear guard, or if you did 5 set orders with different names, you restand Eledglema, the rear guard, and it gets -2 drive and plus 10k power. Not once per turn, which is the key thing of this deck. I have done it to where I can do this twice. That's if you have 10, and that's how this deck kills on the first grade 3 turn, especially if you go first, because your opponent's at grade 2, your grade 2 gets a natural crit and power, and it's really funny. It's just really strong. Moving on, we are playing 3 more copies of Persona Ride. Probably gonna cut them once we get the Soul Front and the other stuff in set 6 or set 7. The only reason I'm really playing it is because this provides Soul, which we need for Ox Monster. I might cut it down to 1 once we get this stuff on Friday, because we were still missing some stuff. So if you want to play 3, you can, but you can easily cut this to 2 or even 1, which is what I'm probably going to do. And, just going to follow the Kira Qualia strat. I am proxying 1 at the moment. Our friend lent us the second one for the tourney. Luckily, I didn't play with the procs in the tourney. But this is the grade 2 monster he got. Jumbo Crusher. Scrusher? Something like that. So what he does when he attacks, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Eledglema in its name, CB1 Energy Blast 3, draw a card, he gets 10k and a crit until end of turn. So if you restand him with Eledglema, he keeps that, and if you have 5 different set orders again, you can just swing, pay the cost again, and now he gets plus 20k essentially and another crit. So by himself, he can go 20k with a crit, 30k 2 crit. It is so crazy. It's so good. I might bump it up to 3, because having 2 of these on the board on your first grade 3 turn with 3 open CB is really strong. I almost beat people just like that. If not, I didn't beat them. They just ate their whole hand. Moving on with the other grade 2s. We're playing 4 copies of Oxcord. Really good monster. If he's in the monster order research thing, you can play Soul Blast 2, call it to rear, he gets 5k until end of turn. But the more important effect is when he's placed on rear, either by his effect or just normal calling, you can get a monster from your research order, and then you ditch a card, which combos really well with Penguin. Penguin is an old card. When he is pitched during your turn for any reason, So by riding or by Ox Cord, you get to look at the top 5 and just get a set order and add it to your hand. You will abuse this penguin as much as physically possible, at least once a turn, if not like twice, because it's just gonna deck them, because the cost is free, so there's really no reason. And like once you have 2, you can ditch this for your ride, put it in the order, call it, get this, pitch this, and then just put it back for next turn. The deck has just a lot of little combos like that, which is really cool. Moving on to the grade 1s, we are playing 3 copies of Moflash, the grade 1 for Eledglema. I think this is the card that truly ties the deck together, because on the board, you can retire it as long as you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Eledglema, reveal at least 3 different named set orders from your hand, and then you can just play as many set orders as you have in your hand. And then if you did at least 3, you get the draw card. So it immediately replaces itself. It's going to fill your order zone with like 8 to 10. This is what allows you to get the multiple restands. I might bump it up to 4 because there were 2 instances where I almost whiffed this, and there was 1 game where I did whiff it. Leo mentioned against the Chaos player. And if you whiff this, your turn is pretty dead unless you hit 5 with Eledglema, or at least 3. So I am going to definitely mess with this deck once we get all the stuff, but if you want to play 3, you definitely can. I wouldn't recommend any less than 3, but I might try and bump it up to 4. And that is all the rear guards. And if you notice, there is no PGs, because this deck is all gas, no breaks. Like, you are just trying to kill your opponent at your first grade 3 turn, so PGs are theoretically useless. So this is funny. For the set orders, we are playing 3 of the Research Monster. You might know what this is from Archetype. On play, reveal the top card, reveal top 5, get a monster. If there's 2 monsters, dump 1, add 1. And then you can rest this, get a monster to drop, put it in there. This allows you to use the Penguin and Ox Cord. The second most important one is Refellishment Dock. This gives you grade 2's boost. As you saw, we are playing a lot of grade 2s. And it also draws a card on plays. We're playing 2 of the grade 3 Ava order and 2 of the grade 2 Ava order. Very simple. On plays, draw a card and discard a card. So you can discard Penguin, get the Penguin effect. Or you can also discard Dog. Dog is another good card. You can pitch this with Ox Cord, and this just goes into your soul or goes into your order zone for free. It's another name. And then grade 3 Ava, look at the top 5, call a unit. You will call a unit even if it's like Eledglema himself, because it just thins the deck. Plus, you could just call over the Eledglema, put in the monster zone, and then use Ox Cord to get it back to your hand. That is a way you can loop Persona rides. We're playing 3 of the grade 2 Orphist order, and 1 of this one, Eclipse Moonlight, and this is Hollowing Moonlight. This one on place, just draw a card, that's all that matters. And this one on place, you get a Shadow Armor token. This one is alright. I only really played it because of the name, but the booster did come in handy at least 1 time against Leo because of the Blangdmire. You could just banish the Shadow Army token for his cost. I mean, like, I'm probably going to keep it just because it is a different name, but if you did want to cut this, you definitely could. And then rounding out, we are playing 2 Meteors. We don't have the Soul Fronts just yet, so this Dog and Persona Rides is like the only way to get Soul. And if you do play this off Eledglema, you also get the draw card, because this only carries if it was placed by a Vanguard's ability. So that's nice, just a lot of draw power. Moving on to triggers. We are playing 8 crits, 4 being soul crits. Normally I say these aren't that important, but Eledglema does have a little bit of a soul issue because of Ox Monster, so I kind of recommend them. We are playing 3 fronts just for shield value, 4 heal, and of course, Branket OT. Branket OT is pretty stupid in this deck. It's a normally stupid OT anyway, but the fact that you can restand your Vanguard and you're naturally crit getting rear guard means you might just kill them. I didn't get to pull that off, but you know, if you do, you more than likely will just win the game. And once we do get these soul fronts, I will be cutting these heals, because again, just like the PGs, if your opponent is dead at your first grade 3 turn anyway, you don't really need heals. But yeah, that is the deck. It is a very fun. I will admit, I misplayed quite a bit, during the tourney because this was the first time I've actually ever piloted a deck. I never touched it beforehand. And there is enough intricacy and combos that I think could keep pretty much anyone happy. And it's just a cool OTK deck that you don't really see in Vanguard. So I hope you guys enjoy this list. If I do make any updates, I'll post them. And that's until next time. Pray for the trigger.